What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Bailey Canning. I'm an independent marketing strategist based in Colorado, working primarily with service-based businesses to help them increase the amount of traffic they're getting online, generating more leads from that traffic, and then ultimately taking those leads and nurturing and converting them into paying clients. On today's video, we are going to be talking about how I am using ChatGPT to get what I would consider to be quite awesome results when it comes to actually writing copy. The reason why I decided to make this video and the reason why I first started thinking maybe I was onto something with the way I'm using ChatGPT to write copy is that even though I was doing a lot of copywriting before ChatGPT, ever since I started using it and providing you with some of the resources that we will be talking about in today's video, I really started to get a lot of great feedback from my clients saying that the copywriting is amazing and really going out of their way just to compliment me. We will be talking all about how I use ChatGPT to write great copy. But before we get into that, if you are interested in branding, web design, or digital marketing, and you're looking for the latest tactics and strategies your company can use to generate more leads online, then you're definitely going to want to subscribe to my channel because I'm putting out at least 1 to 2 videos per week covering those topics and breaking down the latest marketing strategies you can use in your business to start generating more leads and converting those leads into paying clients. So you're not going to want to miss any of the content I'm putting out. Now, with all the housekeeping taken care of, let's just get into today's video. All right, so first let's just talk about how I actually view ChatGPT. The way I view it is that it's essentially a junior copywriter that is right out of college. And so with that analogy, I just use that to illustrate the fact that you can't just open up a blank ChatGPT chat and then give it a couple sentences about what you're looking for and then expect it to write you really great copy out of the box. What you really need to do is take the time and put in the work necessary to provide it with some really great resources about the company, about the client, about the marketing strategy you're pursuing, about the project goals, etc. When it comes to these AI tools, they really thrive on the amount of data and the amount of context and the amount of information you give it ahead of time. And that's why I view it as a junior copywriter who is like day one at an advertising agency. Those types of people coming right out of college are obviously going to need a lot of hand holding and just a lot of resources and information in order to do a halfway decent job. And it's the same way with ChatGPT. Maybe 5 years from now, it's not going to be like that, but just right now, we're not there yet. And so that is why you really need to spend 1 to 2 hours probably at least giving it some great resources to write great copy. But if you're doing your job right anyway as a marketing strategist, then it's likely you already have a lot of these resources on hand anyway, or at least I hope. The first resource I provide ChatGPT with to write really great copy is going to be specific client avatars. Now, these are based roughly on the digital marketer customer avatar canvas. And basically, I look to develop at least 3 to 5 primary personas or avatars that the client is looking to target. I try to have at least 5 to 10 very detailed bullet points within the categories of their demographic, what is their age, what's their education level, where do they live, that type of stuff. Then we talk about key purchase indicators. So what are some of the key things that are really going to drive their purchasing decision ultimately? Then we talk about their wants and aspirations. So what are they looking to get out of hiring a company, whether that's going to be an accounting firm, they want to get their taxes done and save as much money as possible, or a dentist, they want to have very nice, straight, white teeth, something like that. And then what are their fears and frustrations if something could go wrong? So maybe, for example, they hire an accounting firm and it turns out they did a terrible job and now they owe $5,000 in back taxes, something like that. This is super important because one of the key things that go into writing great copy is ultimately knowing who you are talking to in the first place. So you really need to provide ChatGPT with that information. I have ChatGPT actually write up the client avatars. Then I will give it a final version after I've revised it in a Google Doc. And then I tell ChatGPT, these are the client avatars that we're going to be looking to target with this website. And then please ensure that all the copy is going to be, tailored around those specific things. To put a pin in this section, client avatars are an absolutely non-negotiable resource that you need to provide ChatGPT with. And honestly, you don't have any excuse because you can have ChatGPT develop these for you in 5 to 10 minutes. Number 2 is going to be notes and the final StoryBrand that I develop as part of a StoryBrand workshop. Now, I made a video about this in the past, so I'm not going to go too in depth to it, but I will link it up here in case you are interested. But basically, I have developed this StoryBrand workshop, which is based off the book Building a StoryBrand by Donald Miller. And essentially what it does is it walks you through a framework you can use with your clients, or if you work in-house as a marketer, you can set up a company meeting to develop this. And basically what you can do is be able to tell a very unique story tailored to your prospective clients that's going to allow your company's marketing message to stand out from a very crowded, competitive field. So oftentimes when I'm working with a new client for the first time, we will do a StoryBrand workshop to develop a unique messaging strategy that's going to inform the copy direction of the website, and then is also going to inform future ad copy, future SEO copy, etc. This is another great resource I've given ChatGPT, because this way it knows what central themes you actually want to touch on in the marketing copy of the website. And then this way, it's actually going to be able to stay on message and on brand far better. Because in my experience as a marketing strategist, when it comes to developing really great copy, you really want to have a central theme or message that you're sticking to, and you don't want to be going all over the place. You want to stay on brand and be like, these are the 5 key things we are talking about right here. You want to have a centralized message strategy and not be over here like on Mars or in Pluto talking about some esoteric thing that your clients don't even know about. The StoryBrand Workshop is one of the best resources I have found to give ChatGPT, so that's able to write really great marketing copy. The third resource is going to be a brand style guide. Now, this is probably only going to be applicable if you're working with a client or if your company has already put in a solid amount of brand strategy work. But if they do, they likely have a brand style guide, which on one hand is going to include a lot of information about the visual assets, like the logo, the colors, the fonts, how that should be displayed, different use cases. But generally, there's also a section in there talking about like tone and writing style and proper grammar as well. So that could be another really great resource if your client or if your company already has that on hand, because that way ChatGPT can stay very on brand when it's writing the copy for your company. Another thing I've started giving ChatGPT is transcripts from my meetings with clients. Oftentimes during the strategy phase of a website project, I hold several meetings with clients to learn more about their business, the competitive landscape, what they're really trying to communicate and get across, all that type of stuff. The main meeting I hold as part of this is a discovery call where it's 60 to 90 minutes, me basically giving a very thorough interview of the client, trying to find out as much information I can about their business, about their clients, and about their industry, you name it. But what I've started doing now, knowing how ChatGPT can write great copy in the background, is I've started recording this call with my client's permission, obviously, and then from that call, then only do I have a recording myself, so I can go back and reference things and not really need to take so many notes, but I can be very much more present in the conversation. But then I use Google Meet, which will automatically generate a transcript of that conversation, and then I give it to ChatGPT. And so this way, it just has so much more background information about the client and everything we're talking about. So that is another resource I would really give ChatGPT, and that is something you can continue to give it over and over again, which are going to be transcripts from your calls and meetings with clients, because there's a lot of really great information in there. And honestly, I've just found it to be very helpful as well, because again, we want to give ChatGPT as much context and as much information as possible so that it's able to give us the best results possible. But the next resource we were talking about, honestly, I just remembered I have it, so I actually haven't been using to give it to ChatGPT, but in preparation for this video, I remembered I have it, and now I'm going to start using it, because I think the results that I've been getting right now can just be, put on steroids essentially with this resource, which is called an offer messaging workbook. And I actually got this from the Inner Circle group that I'm a part of, which is run by a guy named Kevin Geary, who is a really fantastic educator in the marketing and web development space. I've had him on the podcast. If you want to check out that conversation, I'll link the video up here. But basically, this resource is just super great, and he recommends actually having a client meeting. Essentially, it just runs you through a bunch of very specific questions to go through with your clients and interview them. Oftentimes, they probably don't even know the answers to these questions themselves. He recommends doing it for every different persona and then every different product. There are just so many great specific questions that can really refine how to communicate your company's main value proposition and just talk about all the different services it offers to its prospective clients. So going forward, I'm going to be adding this to my strategy phase deliverables, and then I'm going to be giving this resource to ChatGPT, because I think it's going to really turbocharge the copywriting results I'm already getting from it. And before we wrap up this video, I just wanted to give you one last final bonus tip, and that is going to be to either create a GPT, which you can now do, and you can upload literally the resources I'm talking to right into the GPT here so that it has this in its memory going forward. Or at the very least, what I recommend doing is setting up one specific chat within ChatGPT specific for that client you're doing work for, or if you're an in-house marketer, the company you're doing work for, in regards to the website copy specifically here. Because that way, over time, as you give ChatGPT more information about the company, and as you give it more feedback in terms of how to revise the copy, it's going to be able to take all that information and continually give you better and better results over time. So that's also one of the many GPT hacks I found in my time is just keeping everything for every client or every very specific project within one chat. So this way, over time, it just has so much more information to draw from. So again, keep everything in one chat or just create a dedicated GPT, and you're going to make your life a lot easier and get much better results from ChatGPT as well. All right, guys. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, subscribe to my channel because I'm putting out at least one video per week, again, covering all the latest marketing tools, strategies, tactics, etc., that you can use to grow your business or company online. Also, if you're interested enough, follow me on LinkedIn as well, because I'm putting out pretty much one video per day. So a lot of short form content coming out on LinkedIn, both clips from my videos here on YouTube, but also just native short form content that I'm recording when I have the time as well. So again, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And in the meantime, hope you have a great day. Take it easy.